So as you know, our application is being divided into two parts. We have the front end and we have the back end. Now, the way this work, if the front end need any data, as I told you, we should never save any important information or sensitive information in the front end. Every time the front end needs something, he will send a request to the backend, give me this stuff. For example, that will be an HTTP request. So we'll have this request, and after that, the backend will gonna make a response, and voila, it will receive the data it will, just like that. So request, and then I will have a response, and that's it. It's finished. The connection between the front end and the backend is done. It's finished. I mean, you know that we've been doing that since the beginning of the training. And now, sometime here, if what I want to, the idea I want to, every time the user make a request, I need to make sure that this user is logged in. But how can I do that? The problem is every time there is a request and there is a response, there is no other connection, so they do not know each other. The front end and the back end, there is no connection really between the two, because their connection is only request and response, and voila, it's finished after that. I need to find a way that when the front end send me a request, I need to know if this user is logged in or not. How can I do that? Well, there is many different strategies here to do what we call authentication. So that's authentication. Authentication to make sure that the user is logged in, or the user, his credential, let's say, the user is logged in, his credentials are true. In order to do that, we have session. So we have session way. We can create specific session. A session, we use it a lot before token. But now, for the last couple of 10 years, token after GWT, a lot of developers been using token because simply using them is very simple, it's very easy, and also it's very secure. Okay, so the idea here on the backend, and on the backend, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a token. And here, I don't really know what the token here is. So the token simply, it's very long string. It's just a string, but it's a very long string. When the user here is a front end here, when the user try to log in the front end, I need to communicate with the backend. Okay, so what the backend is going to do when the user here in the front end is logged in, I will send a request to the backend, as you know. In the backend here, I'm going to create something called token. And this token simply, it will be very long string. After I create my token here in the backend, I'm going to save them in the user browser as a cookie. So I'm going to save them here as a cookie. Now, there is many ways actually you don't have to save it in a cookie. You can save it in session storage if you want to, or even in a local storage if you want to. But the problem is, if you save it in the session storage or local storage, that means each time you make a request, you need to remember to send the token in the body as well. So for example, if I'm going to send a request here, I can just say request, it's equal to await, as we know, Axios, for example, we are using Axios. I say Axios dot, let's say, post. And here I'm sending the URL. And after that, here in the body, in the data, I need to send the token as well. Why? Because I am saving the token here in the session storage or in the local storage. So each time I make a request, I need to send the token as a data. Otherwise, the backend will not be able to grab this token and then verify this token. So we can store the token in local storage or session storage. I'll show you an example now, of course. We can save it in local storage or session storage, but the problem is now the backend need to grab this token. Why? Because each time make a request, the backend need to grab the token and need to use the library here to validate it. Validate it, that means make sure the user did not change this token. That's the idea of the token simply. Now, as I told you, we can save it in local storage or session storage. It doesn't really matter. So what I can do here, when the user is logged in, I can, from the backend here, I can send to the front end, I can send token. And here the user can just save it here in the front end. I can save it either as a token or as can save it in the local storage or the session storage. But again, as I told you, if I do so, that means each time I make a request, I need to remember to send it inside my data. Now, an easier way, a better way, an easier way, it will be to save it as a cookie. Why? What is cookies? Well, cookies are small piece of storage. Each time the user make a request, it will automatically attach. So it will automatically attach to the request. And as you can see, that's the benefit actually of the cookie. Here, if I save it as a cookie, I don't have to send my token each time inside the data. No, every time I send the request, automatically my cookie, it will be attached to the request. Unlike that, it will go to the backend and validate. It can validate this token if it's valid or not. Is the idea clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
So so you can actually, what you can do, you can save the token in many different places actually. You don't have to save it as a cookie. But if you did not save it as a cookie, that means each time you need to send the token as a data to the backend, because the backend will not allow you to do anything if the route is protected. It will not allow you to do anything if you not receive token and validate the token. If the token is not valid, the backend will not allow you to go to this specific route. So when it's hit, for example, let's say when we are hitting slash, let's say something, so we have here middleware, and this middleware will just say verify token. So your request will come in here, it will go to verify token. If there is no token or the token is not valid, it will not allow you to go to the controller. It will stop there. Okay, maybe I can show you just, maybe some quick example, not here. It's like that. So let's say that's my backend here. I mean, I'm not gonna build the backend on everything here, but let's say that's my backend, and my backend now I want to create a token. So my token, in order to create a token here, of course, we are using a library which is called GWT. I don't have it now, of course, it will give me an error, but that's how we're gonna create my token. I can just say dot sign, and here when I say dot sign here, I need to pass some stuff here. Now, the first stuff I need to pass to when I'm trying to create the token, and remember all the time, token, we are creating them from the backend. All the time we create them from the backend, then we send them to the front end to be stored. So just now I want to create my token. Let's say the user now try to log in. I'm quite sure that his password is valid, his email is valid. We don't have duplicate email, unlike that. Then I'm going to create my token. I will just say gwt.sign, and here the first thing I need to pass here, it will be that's what we call the payload. The payload is an object which include user object. And here I'm passing this one, it will be the user object. So it will include user ID, username, user password or stuff like that. So it will include, sorry, it will include this one to be a user object, which will include all the data about the current user. And the second parameter here, of course, it will be the hash password or the secret key, and the secret key normally we save it in .env. So I need the secret key. After that, after the secret key, we can also have another object if you want to. And this object here, I can define the age of the token if I want to. Sometime I want my token to be valid for 1 hour or 2 hours, or maybe 2 days or 2 weeks. It really depends what I want to. And here expires in, I can define it 1 hour, 1 day, whatever. Normally we don't do that. If you don't define this, once the age of your token, it will be the session age. That means as long as the user open his browser, your token is be valid. When the user close the browser, it's gone, and now he will need to be able to he need to log in again, because there's not a valid token anymore. And that's what we are doing, because all the time when I'm doing the application, I think it will be a good idea to make it. Of course, again, some applications don't like that. They like to log in the user all the time. And like that here, all you have to do just expires in. You can define this one, which will be an object, extra object. You can define expire in here and define, it will define maybe a longer or shorter age of this token. So after I created my token in the backend, as you know, now I need to somehow to store it in the front end. Why? Because in the front, whenever the front end try to send the request, it will send me this token, this string. Okay, and when I grab this string here, each time with the request, when I have this string, I can try to validate it to make sure that this token is valid. So the idea of token is just to make sure that the user is, let's say, the user is, user is, how can I say it? The user, he has a valid token here, or valid, yeah, it's valid long string, which you just simply call it token. Now, this token now here, I can define it automatically to be a cookie if I want to from the backend. I don't need the frontend if I want to save it as a cookie. And here, simply, if I say res, if I say res.cookie, so if I say res.cookie, I think the property was cookie, if I'm not mistaken. If I say res.cookie now, I am allowed, so I here from the backend, I can automatically define it as a cookie in the user client browser. So all I have to do just say res.cookie, and I need to give it a name, and that will be the value. That will be my string here. That's the key, the name, and here that will be my very long string. And I will make HTTP only true. Why? Because I don't want to allow any script in the frontend to be able to access my token here, or it will be a cookie. But the idea why? Because it's just a little bit more security like that. No one will be able to access my token. Still, the user can go to the cookie and modify it. But if the user modify it, remember this one is very long string. If the user modify even one character, it will be not valid anymore. And because it's not valid anymore, I am using it. So how can I protect in some route? So let's say I have a route here. I don't have a router, but let me say that's a router, for example. Router dot, let's say, post, and router dot post, and let's say that's my login. Or no, I will not make it login, but I will say, for example, add something, add product, for example. Well, I don't want any user to be able to add a product here. I want the user to be logged in. And here, what I can do, I can just add my middleware, which will be created, which is called verify token. Now, in verify token, what will happen here? Well, simply verify token. Simply, when the request come to this specific route, which hits this route, it will go first to verify token. So it will go to the verify token, and here with GWT, we are trying to validate the token. And if the token is valid, then it will complete the request and go to your controller. But if the token is not valid, it will not allow him. And in the verify token, in this middleware, it will send the response and it tells them, for example, token is not valid. So that's simply the idea of the token. Why do we need it? And how can we store it? Again, the token, we create them in the backend. They're just very long string. We use GWT, make it super simple to create a token, as you can see, and to validate token. If I wanted to store it as a cookie, and the cookie has advantages. What is the advantages? Every time I send a request, automatically the cookie be attached to my request. Like I don't have to worry each time to send the token with my data. Now, the cookie has a little bit disadvantage, which is its size is smaller comparing to the local storage and session storage. If I don't want to save it as a cookie, well, I can send it to the front end, and is the front end here. When the front end receive it, so the front end, when the user try to log in, I'm sending a request to the backend. Then I will say res.status. If it's 200, then I can send the token, just like I send the ID, just like I send the username. If you send the token this way, well, like that, I can use local storage and say .set item, and I can save it as an item here, or even session storage if I want session storage set item token. So I can store the token actually in the local storage, in the session storage, or as a cookie. If I save it as a cookie, I can do it in the backend. But if I'm going to save it as a local storage, so in the session storage or local storage, I need to send it to the frontend, and the frontend after that can save it in the local storage or the session storage. What are the advantage and the disadvantage? Well, the first advantage here, as I told you, for the cookie, every time the user send the request, automatically this token, it will be attached to the request automatically. Because here I will have a request.cookies, which will be an object. So it will automatically, this token, it will be added. That's the advantage actually. What is the disadvantage of the cookie? Well, the disadvantage is size is smaller comparing to session storage and local storage. Fine. What if I want to save it in session storage? Well, it's okay to save it in the session storage or even in the local storage, that's fine. But the problem is each time now the user send a request. So for example, if I am in the front end and I want to send a request, so I will just say this, it's equal to await, and let's say Axios, and here I can just say Axios dot, let's say post. When I do so, notice I'm sending, that's my URL, that's my with credential true. I need to pass my token here. I need to pass the token to the front end. So how can I pass the token to the front end? I need to add it to my data like that. So token. Well, so I need to send the token as a data, as you can see. And that's really sometimes annoying because you need to remember all the time to each request to send the token all the time. That's the disadvantage of using local storage or session storage. Now, session storage and local storage are different between the two. Local storage has more size. It's all of them is smaller, but this has more size. More size is not more secure, actually more size. And the problem is also with the local storage is even if the token is not valid anymore, it will not delete it because the local storage is permanent storage. That means even if, let's say my token has an age of 1 hour, even if it's expired, it will not be removed here. So I need to remove it manually. I need to remember that. Session storage, well, session storage is the same idea. It has a size less than the local storage. This one here, it will be empty automatically if I close the tab, close the browser. And yeah, some developer use it for to store token. Me personally, I think it's a bad idea. I mean, if I have a cookie and the cookie is being attached automatically to my request, why I need to save? Why I need to just to save it in the local storage or session storage, and after that, all the time I need to remember to send it to the backend. So the best way actually to just to save it as a cookie, and voila, like that. If I save it as a cookie now, every time the front end make a request, it will be this cookie automatically will be part of the request, and here in the backend I can receive it, grab it, and try to validate. Is the idea clear or not? Yes, no? No?
Yes.
Okay. What about the rest? I explained more than 20 times now.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah.
Fine. Let me just delete this one. Let's go back to our application. For today, we're going to try to work on forget password. So that's my application. I'll CD into the backend first. Backend. npm run div. Voila. And I click on this one. I CD into the front end. And npm run div. Oh yeah, but if I know how to pronounce it. Voila. Click on that. And that's my application. If I log in as a normal user, click. So the user here will have a new component which will be forget password. And you can type your new password. Of course, you can click on this one to show it or hide it. Confirm password like that. You can see more password. Of course, it's functional. I don't want to reset my password simply. Or actually, let's try it. My password, it was user. So user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was until 4, so I make it 5. And here I want to do the same here. So let me copy. Voila. And let's try to reset password. And of course, it will redirect me to slash. That means the password is being reset correctly. If I try to log out and I try to log in here, and now here I just put my email and pass my all password, which will be user 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. Click. Of course, it's telling me an error occurred. So why? Because the password is not correct simply. But if I say user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation mark, click, and voila, it's correct. I'm gonna change my password. So I want user 1, 2, 3, 4, the old password. and I can check it, I can copy it, I can paste it, and both of them should be the same. Now reset password, and now the password is being reset. So that's simply our job today, to try to reset our password. Now there is different scenario to do it. Some application, it will allow you to just to go to your data and update them, forget password and do that, just like we are doing. Other website here, when you try to log in, there is forget password, and if you click on it, it will ask you to enter your emails, and it will send an email to your email. After that, you need to click on it, and then it will allow you to reset your password. There's two different way. I didn't want to implement the email one because after that, I need to implement a lot of library. I need to do, I've taught you how to send an email with Node. So I need to install extra library, which I don't really want to. So I'll try to make it really simple. That's first. If I go to this one, I'm just gonna show you. You don't have to do that. User 1 2 3 4 exclamation mark. So for this user, as you can see, of course, that will be an admin user. So forget password, it's the same. Now it will have list of user. Currently, I have two user only: Sam, which is an admin, and I have Jack, which is user. If I want to switch between the two, I click on this one, voila, and now I make Jack as admin as well. Now, how could I know? Well, let's log out, and now let's try to log in as a Jack. And as you can see, voila, Jack also it's an admin because you can add a product, as you can see, and I have this one. Now I can make some normal user if I want to, but I don't want that. So yeah, you don't have to implement users like that, but what you need to do, I'm inside Jack, right? Let's log out. Let's go to Sam, and let's make Jack normal user. Uh-huh. Um, I'm not sure if it's uppercase or lowercase. It's lowercase. Uh, user 1 2 3 4 exclamation mark. Voila. Now I can go to my user and I can make this Jack again normal user, as you can see. That's fine. And let's just focus on our forget password now. I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna log in as a Jack, which now it's just normal user. And let's work on this one, forget password. So let's just go here. Let's go to source. Let's go to component. Of course, I have one component here, which is forget password. Where's my forget password here? I'm not gonna delete this one here, which will be my CSS. I need to delete this one here. So what do we need to do to forget a password? Well, we need to do a lot of work actually. So let's delete this one. And we'll rebuild it again. Of course, the CSS, I'm gonna keep it. So we need to just work on the forget passwords. That's the only thing we need to work on it. Also in the navigation bar, I mean, it's something simple. You already know. In the navigation bar, I just add forget password. Where is it? Yeah. So I just add this one nav link to forget. So when I click on it, it will take me to slash forget password, simply like that. So now the route, it will be slash forget. If I go to my app.jsx, and as you can see here, if I have forget password, I don't have forget password anymore. Well, I deleted it. And here forget password, as you can see, it's past this slash forget as we've seen. And the element, it will be forget password. So now if I go to my application, yeah, what happened? It looks like I have an error. Forget password, where is it? Yeah, because I don't have anything. Let me just create a dummy component so it doesn't give me this stuff here. That should be okay. What the hell happened? Yeah, sometimes it just go crazy. Jack again. User 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation mark. And now if I click on forget password, I will just use this one here, just this text which is called forget password. And the rest it was the same. I didn't change. So forget password, I have just this text which is called forget password. That's fine, but I don't really want that forget password here. I want to implement forget password. That's first. Now the first question come to my mind here. When I'm trying to forget, when the user try to forget password, try to add a new password, do I have anything on the backend to handle this one? So the question, of course, it will be the user, right? So here is a user. Do we have anything, any route which can handle forget password?
No. Register?
No,
We can use register or not? We have to
no, of
create.
course not. Register for register. Here's forget password. It's not gonna work. So what do we have to do?
Create new route.
Of course, we need to create a new route. So we'll go here, we'll go to user. And in the user here, as you can see, I have a new route here, which is called router.post.forget password. I'm not going to delete this one because it's a simple route. So router.post/forget password. So I need to send a request to this one. Forget password. This one is camel casing /ID. And this ID, it will be the user ID. So the way I created this route, you can create it the way you want, of course. But the way I created here, if the user send a request to /forget password, and here I will have a user ID, it will go to verify token. It makes sure that the user is logged in. Then it will go to forget password. Okay, where is my forget password controller? Well, it's quite simple as well. Let's click on that. Not register, not log in, not log out, not check admin, not get user. Forget passwords, that's what I want to. Not get all user, not change rule. Here, what I want to. Well, as you know here, I am passing the user ID here, as you can see. Well, I can grab it. So just say const ID is equal to request.param. And here in my data, here in the body, when I'm sending this one, I need to send the new password. So the new password here, it will be request.body. So then I would try to find the user. So I'll say, wait, user.find1, because that's the user ID. I will try to find the user with this ID. If I find the user, then what I'm going to do, that's the new password. I need to first to hash the new password. So I'm going to hash the new password. And as you can see here, I have hash password, so I can hash the new password. That's the new hash password. Then I will just say user.password is equal to the new hash password. Then I will wait until user.save, until it's been saved. And I will send the status 200. That means successfully updated the password. If I cannot find the user, I will send the status 404 and I say user not found. Is this code is okay? Is this code is okay? Or do you want me to start from zero? I mean, it's just simple code.
No, it's okay.
Do you understand what I'm trying to do here?
Yeah.
So first, I'm passing the user ID, as you can see, because this one here is the ID, it's a param. So it's just say ID is equal to request.param. And when I'm making the post here, I will pass in my data as a new password. And the new password, that's why I'm grabbing it from request.body. Now, I have two possibilities. I need to find the user with this ID. How can I do that? Well, I will just say await user.find1 and I can underscore ID's ID. When I'm trying to find a user, I have two possibilities. Either I will have user or I will not have user. If I don't have user, I will send a response with status 404. That means the user does not exist. If the user exists, then now I need to hash this password because this password here is not hashed. I need to hash it. And here I have a function for that, which is hash password, which you already know. So I'm going to hash my new password. That's the hash password. Then I will just say user.password because this is user object. And inside this user object, as you can see, I have email, I have password, I have username, I have root. So I will just say user.password. It's equal to this hash password. And now I need to save it in my database. So I will just say await user.save. I'm trying to save it. Then I'm going to send status 200. Simply like that. I can use update if I want to. So I try to update the user so I can use put if I want to. It is possible as well to use put, because what we are doing here, we are trying to update the user data, which is the password. I didn't use this one. I just try to grab the user and I update only the user dot password after I hash it, and then I just wait until the user is being saved. Any question here? Question? Question?
No, it's clear.
Now I have a question for you. Why did I hash the password here? Shouldn't I first validate the password and do stuff like that? Shouldn't I validate?
Because the user is already logged in.
Yeah, but the user try to change his password. Shouldn't I validate the password? Of course, I need to validate the password. The user give me a new password. That's a new password here. I don't know if this password is valid or not. So what do I need to do? I need to validate the password. I need to make sure it's valid or not. So what I can do here, even before this one, I can just say const is valid password, for example, is valid password. And I'm going to use this middleware, which is our this util function validate password. And only if the user is, so I will just say if it's valid, then now I can do all that.
So, but do we need to match? Because you have passport and rep passport.
No, we don't need a match because, just a second. No, we don't want it because, no, because we are doing it in the front end. No, we just need a password here. So here, I just need to validate the password only. So what I can do here, I can just say const is valid password. And here I will just use this middleware only now here if the user is valid password. And then I can now go to do whatever I want to. So I can hash my password. I can update the password and then save it, then send the request 200. But what if this one is not valid? What is not valid? I can send status 400 until invalid password, something like that. Did you understand what I did here? Yes, no? Hello?
Yeah, for me, yes.
Yes.
I don't need two password here to confirm password. I'm doing that in the front end. I don't need to do that. All I need here is a new password here. So in the new password here, I need to validate this new password. I need to make sure it's valid or not. If it's not valid, I will not accept it. So here I'm trying to validate. First, of course, I need to make sure the user exists. If the user exists, I'm going to validate my password. If my password is valid, then I'm going to hash the password, and then I will update the user password, and then I will wait until the user is being saved, send response 200. If the password is not valid, then I'm sending status 400, which is invalid password, simply like that. And that's it simply. Is the idea clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. So that's my route here and my controller, which will handle change the password, which is great. Now I'm done with the backend. I don't have any job now in the backend. I need to go to my front end. My job here, it will be in the front end. So in the front end, what do I need to do here? Well, obviously, I will need to create a form, something like a form. Because why? Because the user need to be able to enter his password, enter his confirmed password, and then after that, I need to send a request to the backend to /forget password to try to change or to change the password. So how can I do that? Well, obviously, I need to send a request to the backend, what we'll need. So I'm going to send a request to the backend. So what I will need? I will need some piece of state first. So I need to import
useState.
useState. I need to import useState. That's first. Second, I need to import Axios. Why? Because
do you need use effect?
Use effect, no, because here we have a button. So we have a button. When you click on the button, then I want the request to happen. So I don't want it to happen when I load the component. So when I click on forget password, it will not automatically change my password. No, I don't want that to happen when the page is loaded. I want to happen when we click on the button. So I don't need use effect. But I will need something else. if you remember, when I changed the password and it was okay changed, it redirect me to slash. So how can I do that?
Use navigate.
Use navigate. Well, so I only need these three. After that, of course, now I need to import my CSS, as you know. And the CSS dot slash forget password, if I'm not mistaken, forget password of CSS. And now here, by the way, I will need also a few stuff. So what I will need here, I need to validate the password here as well. And not just the password, I need to validate the password. And also I need to make sure that the password are matched, because here I have two fields. I have password and confirm passwords. That means I need to make sure both of them are matched. So do I have any function will help me in the front end to do that?
Yes.
Of course. So if I go to my util, I have validate password and I have match password. So I need to import both of them. So import validate password, and it's coming from util.validate password. I hope it's correct. And the second one, I need to import match passwords as a plural, and should be okay, both of them. Yeah. Match password. Yeah. Okay, I need just two util function, because now when the user try to enter a new password, I need to validate not just on the backend, also in the front end. Okay, fine. So what should I do now? Well, the first step here, I'm planning to use navigate, so it will be a good idea to just say const navigate, use navigate. Now I need to create a few pieces of state. So the first piece of state, it will be the new password. I will just name it new password, so I can just say const new password set new password. Voila. So that will be the new password. The second one here, it will be the confirm password, because I will have a field for confirm as well. So confirm password, set confirm password. Also, I will need to, what do I need to do? I will need to create an error, and just in case I have an error message like that, so we'll just keep it this way. In case I have an error, I will just show an error. Okay, fine. So in here, what do I need to do? Well, now I will try to add my stuff here. And in the beginning, I have just here, I need to add a class which is called forget password. Forget password. And after that, I need to have a form. Voila. I don't need the action. Well, that will be my form. Voila. Now in my form here, I need to be, so I need to have a label. I will need to have a label for a new password. I need to have a label for confirm password. And yeah, I need to have a button, as we know. So first I need the label. So this label, it will be for what? It will be for the new password. New password. Voila. And after that, of course, I will need, and now here, normally we can create an input directly. But remember something, because I have these eyes, stuff like that. This eye is a button, by the way. So this eye, when I click on it, it will show me the password. And when I click on it, it will hide the password. Because I have these eyes now, this eye is a button. So I am going to create a div, actually. Why? Because I'm creating a div to put the input and this button here together. And after that, style them. If you don't want to have this eye, so you don't have to create a div. But now I need to create a div, actually. And the div, it has a class called password input. Password dash input. Okay, now inside this one, now I can just create my my input, as you can see. Voila. So my input type, it will be password ID, it will be new password. I need to add a name, a placeholder. I don't want to require. I'll make it true. Required, like that. And of course, what will be the value? Well, the value, it will be new password, as you know. And now when I choose on change, I need to set the new password here to event.target.value. That should be okay. That should be repetitive, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. Now here, what I need to do here, after I put the input, now I need to create a button. And this button, actually, this button, it will be the icon I am clicking on. So for this button here, and now I need to add some data. Also for the type, it will be button. So it's fine, button like that. I can give it a class for styling. And the class name here is toggle password, I suppose. I'm not sure. Let me just check here. Forget password. Yeah, it's toggle password, as you can see. So let's just add toggle password, toggle dash password. Okay, after I define this one here, now I need to add something here inside my button. Now, what I will show inside my button, it will be actually something really interesting. Why? Because depending on some value, I will either show, I can choose two icons, by the way, if eyes or something like that. But I will use my old code here. Let's just copy this one. Voila. So depending on some value here, either I'm going to show this guy here, or I'm going to show this guy here. So what is with this value here? Well, this value here, it will be either show or hide. So whenever I click on this button, so now I need to create another piece of state, which will be show new password, for example. So I need to create another piece of state here, which will say, let me just create here, show password. And another one, show confirm password. So now I have two pieces of state, as you can see, false and false. And it will tell me to if I want to show the password or show the confirm password or not. The first one here, it will be show password. So if show password is true, this one, it will be like that. If show password is false, I will see this one like that. Of course, I'm not done yet because I'm just changing the text inside the button. This button, I need to add another property here. It will be on click. So what will happen when I click on this button? What should I do? What should I do when I click on this button? I need to go to see show password. If show password is true, I need to make it. If
False.
show password is true, I need to make it false. If it's false, I need to make it
True.
true. Simply like that. And here, what I can do here, I can just say, actually, I can directly save it in this one. Here on click, and now here I can create. Let's just say show. This name is show password. No, handle password or show password, something like that. Handle show password. Actually, it will be better if I just added the function just directly here. In order to do so, all I have to do now, I can just use, I will pass a function here. Now I need to set something. Show password. Now I need to set this one, set show password. But set show password, it must be the opposite of show password. So I can just say the opposite of show password. Voila. So now if show password is true, notice if it's true, it will be not true, it will be false, so I will save it to false. If it's false, not false, which is true, right? And then it will be true. And how like that, simple like that. So this button has a type, has a class that I won't click. When I click on the button, it will just change this value, which is show password. Either it will make it true or false, true or false. Now, if it's true, of course, what will happen here, it will just either show this one or this one. Show this one or this one. One of those. But I need to do something else, actually. No, I don't need to do anything else. No, that's it. That's fine. Actually, that's okay. That's fine. But now I have a small problem here. The type here shouldn't be static. This type, it should be, notice, when show password is true, this type here shouldn't be password. It should be text because I'm trying to show the password. But if this one is false, I need to show it as a password. So how can I deal this one? Any idea? Just like this one. Any idea?
So conditional.
Okay. Yeah, I can run conditional. So if show password is true, I will make it text. If it's not true, I'll make it password, simple like that. Voila, that's it. And that's simply the first input here, which will be new password here. Fine. Now the second one here, what I want to do now here, it will be confirm password. It will be exactly the same. So what I can do, actually, I can copy paste. I'm gonna copy this one and I'm gonna paste it. Voila. Of course, I need to change a lot of stuff. So first, I need to change. Do I have any tag here? No, I don't have any this one. So let's just name it new password. New password. Voila. And in here, the second one here, we'll just name it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Do I have a label for it? You should have. No, I don't have a label for it, so I need a label for it. Come here, and now I have a new label for this guy. Voila. So the new label, I will just name it confirm new password. Confirm new password. That's fine. It's need a class. I will keep the same class, by the way. All of that the same. All of that the same. Confirm new password. New password. That should be fine. The value here, it's not new password here. It should be for confirm password. Confirm password like that. So it's just an tag here. Just name it. Give it a new ID. Confirm password. And here it shouldn't be show password. It should be the second one here, which is show confirm password. Voila. So it's the same idea. It's just now here it will be different. This one it will be, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It will change depending on the show confirm password. If show confirm password is true, it will be text. If it's not, it will be password here. Confirm password is okay. This one is okay. Confirm password. I need to send confirm password. No, not this one. This one. Set confirm password, which will be voila. And now here I need to be careful a little bit with this button. Why? Well, simply because this button here now, this is not set show password. No, it must be set confirm password, which will be this one. So I need to go here, click that, and that should be okay. Show confirm password. Yes, depending on these values, are true or false. And here it's not show password, but also it's show confirm password. Click on that. And I think that should be done. Let's add a button. Type submit, of course. I don't want anything inside the button. Here I can just close my button. And I can just say, I don't know, reset. Let's go and see how it look like now.
Some and line 52.
Where's 52?
There is show password. It should be show confirm password in the bracket.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It must be show confirm password. Voila. So let's copy this one. And voila. I don't think I forget anything. Both of them are, by the way, they're very similar. I created two different states. Why? Because if I don't create two different states for show password, show confirm password, if I click on this one, both password will show, and that's not what I want to. If I have something like that now, if I don't have two states for this show password and show confirm password, if I click on this one, both of them it will show. That's not what I want to, and that's why I create two different states. Now both of them are separated. This one is separated and this one is separated, as you can see. And that's the reason why I create two different states. Because if you just go with one state here, show password, and you use it for both of them, now when you click on this one, both password will show. That's not what I want to. Anyway, now the structure is fine. Everything is okay. Now all I need to do now, I need to send a request to the backend. Of course, I need to first, when I grab the new password and confirm password, I need to validate the password. I need to make sure the password is matched, and then I will send the request to the backend to update the password. And if the response here is 200, the status is 200, I can redirect to slash. If not, I can show the error here. So I need to also render the error message. So yeah, so for the error message here, error, we are rendering a conditional. If error is true, deal with class error, and I will see the error. Simply like that. I mean, yeah, that's just simply some stuff. Now, what I need to do here, now I need to go to my form and I need to have something called onSubmit. So this function, let's call it, for example, onSubmit. And let's call it submit handler or whatever, handle submit, whatever you want to. Actually, it should be start with verb, so submit handler is better. Submit handler. Submit handler is correct, right? Submit.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now what I need to do here, I need to create my function, submit handler. And submit handler, of course, it will be an async function. Why? Because simply I'm planning to send a request to the backend to try to update or reset the password, whatever you want to call it. Now, the first step I need to do here, I am inside the form. And when someone click on the bottom inside this form, it will, there's default behavior. I need to prevent the default behavior. What should I do? What should I do?
Prevent default.
So I need to prevent the default event.prevent default like that. Voila, that's the first step. Second step, now I need to validate both password and I need to make sure the password is valid, and also I need to make sure that the password are matched. So I can just say const is valid. It should be one word actually, is valid password. Voila, is valid password. So I'm using this util function. And the second one here, I need to make sure that is match password. So both of them are matched. Const is match password, or is whatever you want to call it. Is match password, let's name it. Okay, is valid here, it should be capital F. Is match threshold. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are just making sure that the password is valid. Then we make sure that the password and the new password are, both of them are valid. And now if both of them are valid, so what should I do now? Then I send a request. So I can just say if is valid password, if is valid password and is match password. In this case, I'm gonna send a request to the backend to do some stuff here. But what if that's not the case? Well, if that's not the case, then what I need to do here, I can just set an error. So else, and here in else, I can just set my error here. Yeah, I don't want to write a very long message. I need to make it very small. Just password is not valid. Password is not valid. Simply like that. You can write any message you want to, of course, but yeah, well, that's my message. Fine. Now, if my password is valid and match password, so I will need to send a request to, so I need to send a request to the backend. So I need to try and catch block, as you know. Okay, try and catch. If I have an error, as you know, I just need to set the error here. So let's show the error here. Error.message or whatever, or you can just create your own message here. Something went wrong, for example. Voila, something like that. Okay, if I don't have anything, I can just say const response. It's equal to await, and here I can use Axios dot. What was the verb to update the password? It was post. Was it post or not in the backend?
Yes.
Okay, let's just try to check it. It is indeed, as you can see, it's post, and here should be forget password. So now all I have to do, I need to pass the URL, and the URL here, I need to grab the base URL, which will be import dot meta dot inv dot beat slash forget password. It's correct, as you can see, that's forget password. But here I don't want this one here. This is ugly. Here I will replace it with ID only. So I will need the user ID So where I can grab the user ID? Well, I will grab the user ID simply from the session storage because I save it in the session storage, not the local storage, from the session storage. Voila. That should be simple. Now, as you can see, what I'm doing here, I'm sending a request to the base URL / forget password as here, forget password / I need to pass the user ID. That's my user ID. Now I need to pass also in the body, if you remember, I need to pass a new password. So new password here, I need to pass the value. But I'm not quite sure the value was exactly new password. It was something else. I need to go to here. Yeah, it's new password, as you can see. So I need to pass the new password. So of course I have the new password here, and I'm passing my new password here. New password. Cool. Now, of course, after I pass the new password, I need to pass another object, which will be with credential. With credential. True. Okay, now I'm sending my request. I'm sending everything. Why the hell? Let me just log here so I don't have this problem. Console. Dot errors. This one, voila. And now all I have to do, I can just say if status, I'm sorry, if res.status is 200, then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to remove the ID. I'm going to just navigate to /. That's what I want. Else, if that's not the case, I can show another error if I want to. Just something went wrong, voila. And that should be okay, actually. So as you can see, what I'm doing, I'm validating the password, making sure the password and match password are the same. If they're the same, I'm sending a request to the backend to the base URL / forget password / user ID. There's a new password here. And the new password here, it will go to the backend. It will still validate the new password anyway on the backend. If res.status is 200, that means successful. I'm going to redirect to /. If not, then I'm going to just show an error. And everything should be okay, actually. Let's try to test it. Voila. And now I am inside Jack user, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go to the profile. It is inside Jack. So let's try here to update the password. And here I will name it user 12345 exclamation mark. And now I can see it, as you can see. I can copy this one, paste it also, I can see this one. And now here I can just try to reset the password. And as you can see, it redirected me to /. That means it was successful, actually. And now here, if I try to log out and try to log in with Jack, and try with my old password, which is user 1234 exclamation mark, I have an error because simply the password is not correct. But if I try with a new password, user 12345 exclamation mark, and voila, I'm logged in correctly. Everything's fine. And now here I want to go back to grab my old password. I don't like the new password. Let me just make sure user 1234, that's okay. I want it to be the same here. And I click, and it's been updated. Let me log out again. And now here I can log in as a Jack. And I will use the new password, user 1234 exclamation mark, and voila. And as you can see, that's how we implement forget password. Question? Question?
Inside forget password, why do we don't need our current password? Like 3 fields, current password, new password, and repassword.
It's up to you. If you want to create another one, it's totally up to you. Now, for me, I just need 2 fields. If you want to add more, it's fine.
Okay.
It's totally up to you. It's flexible. But for me, I think it will be enough to add new password. I cannot ask the user for the old password because he already forget his old password. But I will ask him the new password and confirm the new password. These 2 should be enough for me now. If you want more, you can add. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Question. Okay, now your task. I don't know if you finish your project yet or not yet. Not yet, right?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay, you can continue doing your project, and when you are finished, you can implement also forget password. That should be enough for today. Tomorrow we'll be on site. It will be very cold tomorrow. But good news, I mean, good news. No one will be there. I mean, I don't think Valerie is coming to see you. Also, Lisan is busy. She's not coming to see you. Yeah.
Do we
Any
need to
question?
come?
I'm sorry.
Do we need to come or we will stay online?
Oh no, we need to go because it's before the last day, and I think is we've been online for like 1 or 2 weeks. So
You can
just
stop recording, maybe.
Mhm.